So today we're going to be talking about the temperate deciduous forest biome, and it's going to be focusing on North Florida. This does span almost the entire east coast of the United States, and it focuses on the mid-latitude area. And some of the features are that it has four seasons, the winter, summer, fall, and spring, and that is secondary to it being exposed to the warm and cold air masses that come through with all the different cold fronts, warm air fronts, and the different types of rain and everything that affects it. The temperature, since it is such a big area, the average temperature is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit with a low of negative 22 Fahrenheit, and that's definitely up towards New York and not towards me, and a high of 86. Now, in Florida, we're not necessarily full forest like this, but just north of where I live, definitely this area can usually stay in the 86 area, but we do get to the hundreds during the summertime, which is not so fun. The rainfall, we're known for rainfall here in Florida, about 30 to 60 inches annually, and that's not including the hurricanes and tropical storms and everything that comes our way. So some of the plant life that we're going to focus on today, 8 of the ones that I've found the most of, there's many different types of oaks, mosses. More north of where I live, there's a birch tree and some other types of birches. A lot of wildflowers found in meadows and everything like that. Maple trees is a northern state. I don't want to say tradition, that's not the word I'm looking for. Finding. Maples are found up north. A lichen is how I'm going to pronounce it. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. A fern, which I have a lot of on my property, and a magnolia. So the ones that we're going to focus on today, we'll start with the lichen. There are over 3,600 species across the United States. It is actually a symbiotic relationship between a fungus and an algae. And algae, I'm sorry. It is a non-vascular plant, and with this symbiotic relationship, it is found that the fungus is the dominant species in that it gains nutrients from the algae. There is no roots or stems, but it really focuses, it grows on the trees, as you can see, it grows on rocks and a lot of other things. Some people do confuse it for mosses, but mosses are considered a plant and not a fungi. So they mainly provide a mode of survival for the algae that is with them because it stays moist, and with the possible dry environments that it lives in, it allows the algae to still grow. And we'll move on to the ferns. What I focused on today was the lady fern. It is a perennial fern that is about 24 to 36 inches tall, and the leaves can span even more wide than that. They are mostly found in meadows and open thickets, moist woods, really on the side of streams. I see them a lot there. And they love to dominate underneath the forest trees, and they love to cover the forest floor. So that understory of the trees is really, really where they prosper. They are known to be eaten by grizzly bears and elks. And the leaves can be used, it was found by the Native Americans that they used the leaves for a lot of other things, but one of the most important things was tea, and it helped for medical purposes. It would help with sometimes infections and even some pains throughout childbirth process and everything like that. So the third one, we'll move on to oaks. Now I have laurel oaks where I live, but white oaks is what I focused on today because I really do love to see the color change. We don't have that here in Florida, but I love to see the color change in the white oaks. They are known to be one of the biggest oaks, 80 to 100 feet tall and about 3 to 4 inches in diameter of the trunk. I did read that it could also span the root system of over 150 feet, and that didn't include depth, that just include length. As long as they're undisturbed, it can last as long to 500 to 600 years old. As you can see in the picture below on the right, the leaves have finger-like lobes, and the seeds are acorns eaten by squirrels, chipmunks, deers, and a lot of other small creatures around here. I know that birds like to take them and crack them open as well. The tap roots in order to stabilize, they have taproots as seedlings, and then as they age, it is found that the fibrous root system develops, and that's when they start to span out underneath them. And it is the most common tree species in the eastern United States, and they're mostly valued for their timber for flooring purposes and for furniture and stuff like that. Last but not least, we have the birch, and today I focused on the white birch because these are definitely one of my favorite trees to see when I go hiking up north. They're just so pretty, and it's amazing to see something so white just kind of basking off the green in the background, as you can see in the picture. They are small to medium-sized trees trunk-wise, and they are about 70 to 80 feet tall. They don't last as long as the oaks. They're about 140 years as long as they're undisturbed. The male and female catkins also turn into winged nutkins, and these wings help the seeds fly away from the parent tree to avoid competition for food and water when they start to plant, which is actually very interesting. As I was talking about the white bark before, it peels very easily, and it is known to be on the sides of canoes, and Native Americans use it for a lot of other things. They use the whole tree and their branches for things like bows, spears, arrows, a lot of that. Moose are known to be the most common browser of the seedlings, and they take the tops off of the trees, which forces the trees to grow up and send more stems out so that they can grow. They do not like the shade. They are the first tree to actually grow back after fires or after being cut down and stuff like that. And they also are known to be a great fire starter because they still burn even when they are wet. And lastly, the syrup, wine, and beer are all made from the sap, as well as some medical toxins, or tonics, my bad. Tonics are made from the sap. And those are my references. Thank you very much.